No professional team should ever be without a city in its name. Uh, and I'll even criticize the Golden State Warriors on this. It should be either the San Francisco Warriors or it should have been the Oakland Warriors. I don't think it, because how dare you represent the entire state of California and not use either California, San Francisco, or Oakland? So they need to be criticized too. But we're going to criticize a different Oakland. We're going to criticize the A's or the Athletics now. They're in Sacramento. They're not even called the Oakland Athletics anymore. And I mean, even the Utah Hockey Club at least uses Utah in its name. Now, I mean, they were going to be the Yeti. They were supposed to be the Yeti. They're not, but they're trying to figure out a name there. We'll see what they come up with, but that's besides the point. The Athletics have been part of the MLB since, the telegraph was the main form of communication. They're a very old baseball team. They have been in Philadelphia, Kansas City, Oakland, and now they're going to Sacramento, but they're not using the name Sacramento A's or Sacramento Athletics. Was there any reason to do this? I, I don't understand why Rob Manfred is, is not like just breathing down their necks and forcing them to use either the name Sacramento or just put in a state. Even the California Athletics sounds better than just the Athletics. And and I do think it is dumb because you are representing every single team, I think, aside from the Golden State Warriors. There's at least 124 other teams that represent that either have a city or a state, then that they have their respective, and then they have their respective mascot or nickname. For example, the Columbus Blue Jackets are one. They represent Columbus. Don't know what you do there. Baltimore Orioles, obviously. New York Yankees and New York Mets could represent either the state of New York or the city of New York. So there's that. The New Jersey Devils, right then and there. Brooklyn Nets, I think that would be another exception to the rule because Brooklyn is a borough of New York. They used to be the New Jersey Nets, but I think they just wanted to distinguish themselves from the other New York teams. So there's that, but there's always at least some area before your mascot. There's an area name before the mascot, and it's like, this is not your little league, you know, tri-city county area, little league year. We're talking about MLB teams and essentially Big Four sports in general too. We It would have been embarrassing when the Vegas Golden Knights came in and they just didn't have a name, or they just called themselves the Golden Knights. That would have been embarrassing for the NHL. And Rob Manfred should be embarrassed too. If I'm the commissioner, you're taking either a city name or a state name. Colorado Rockies, Minnesota Twins. That's fine. You know, the Twins, I mean, you could put the Twins anywhere and that would make a great name. Like, no, we're not doing that. You are representing your state or your city, your area, and then you will have then you'll have your mascot name after that, or your nickname after that. I think it's very stupid too. I mean, the whole athletics situation really is hurting the MLB. I mean, the Rays have their issues, but Hurricane Milton was a very unforeseen circumstance that happened. This, but I will argue this point. The Rays had the slightly better stadium than the A's because at least they never got rained out. There were rainouts in Oakland. I mean, it doesn't rain much there, but at least they had rainouts there. Rays didn't have any rainouts in their history, and they probably will when they play in the Tampa Tarpons Stadium at Steinbrenner Field. The A's needed to upgrade that stadium back in the late 80s at the very least. And when my dad went there in like 91 after Ricky Henderson and the Athletics and Dave Stewart and Eckersley, I think, when they won after they won the World Series in 1990, my dad went there in 1991 and he saw them and he thought this place is a dump, you know, and I mean, it was not fair to, it wasn't even fair to the Raiders. It was not fair to the Raiders because you have essentially dirt on an NFL field. We don't do that anymore. They are either playing in domes or they're playing on real grass. And and I mean, it does give, the opposing team the disadvantage because you're running on grass and then all of a sudden the turf changes. I mean, and you have to adjust your feet. You can get an ankle injury. You have to run a little differently, and and that's something that NFL players do not train for anymore, and college players don't train for anymore. So I'm kind of glad the Oakland Coliseum is going to be used for soccer. I believe it's going to be used in the World Cup, but it needed the A's needed a new stadium. And that's not to say that they couldn't have upgraded um, that or and modified it for either soccer or football, but the A's needed to get out of the Coliseum in like 1988, personally. So they were not there. I think I want this team to succeed. It is good for baseball when a team gets a new stadium. Assuming it doesn't come out of the taxpayers' wallets. But it is good for baseball when you have a city name and then the nickname or mascot name. It's consistent across all the big four sports. I mean, the NFL doesn't necessarily, I mean, do this. I mean, they have the Vegas Raiders now. They have the San Francisco 49ers, even though they're in Santa Clara. They have the LA Rams and Chargers, so they represent LA. And they have the Jets and Giants, and even though they're in New Jersey, it makes perfect sense. They have the Washington Commanders who play in Landover, Maryland. Yeah, at least they have city names that represent that area. Oakland, I'm sorry, the Athletics don't do that. Now, playing in the Sacramento City River Cats Stadium, I mean, there's hardly any outfield seating. You need to build that up, regardless of whether or not you're going to get an MLB team, because, well, officially get an MLB team, because they're not even taking the name Sacramento, and that's insulting to the people of Sacramento. We're going to be propping you up with our tax dollars, and you are not going to even use our city name? How dare you? You know, how dare you? So, so, so not only are the people of Sacramento propping up the Athletics, the people of Nevada are propping them up, and they may not even get them to Vegas. I mean, Rob Manfred needs to step in on this too. He should also say, if you're taking money from an entire state, and this is before they were going up to Sacramento, before we knew that was even an option. they were already taking money trying to get this thing done for them, for the Athletics. They should have been playing in, Vegas at their AAA facility. They should have because they're spending so much time. You need to get in there as well, and they needed to get the F out of California personally. They need to get at because out of all of this, John Fisher is a POS. By the way, I will not like if he walked in this into um if I saw him on the street and he walked up to me, I would literally say, "You are a POS" to him. I like I'm not even I've never even been to California and I hate this guy. Like like try to understand like that is how bad this guy is. And and after all of this, I mean, he's not, he's not a good he's just not a good person too. And he really has ruined the Athletics too. They they really need the A's have had some wonderful, wonderful seasons at the Coliseum. The Reggie Jackson, you know, era where they won three in a row. Ricky Henderson, Dave Stewart, Eckersley, McGuire, Canseco, Miguel Tejada, Scott Hatterberg, if you want to go that deep, and Chad Bradford, if you again going wanting to go deeper. But this team deserved so much more. You know, I mean, it's amazing that they've been around this long. They didn't disband. They weren't the original Washington Senators. They didn't change their name or their identity, and they just stuck it out. The Athletics, it's also kind of weird seeing this on TV as just ATH. Like, well, I mean, they're not even using the A's anymore. It's just ATH. Just seeing that on television just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't. I mean, and they're going to be playing in, I know they're going to be playing in a very hot area, but they can't go to Vegas at that point too. Like they're going to be, at Sacramento and I mean, essentially playing in 100-degree temperatures. And it's like, man, how are these people going to survive out there? Whether you're a grounds crewman or you're a player on the field or an umpire, how are you going to survive? Oh, man. The A's, man, the A's. I mean, the, you know, I really, also, they could have been playing in Omaha too. I mean, there's only 24,000 people. It, you know, there's only essentially a stadium filled with 24,000 people, but at some point, you need to have at least 20 something thousand attending your game to at least maintain a profit. So, but I really did not want to come on here and I'm and just paint a negative picture, but the Athletics painted themselves in a corner. It's not it's not funny. It's not fair. What I the Oakland A's, I wished you, I'm sorry, the Athletics, I wish you all the best. I hope that you have like a major league moment where you just win it all and win the World Series at that point, but and actually bring a World Series title to Sacramento, just to spite Manfraud and John Fisher and everyone involved with this horrible organization, and you just give them the big FU, and then you walk off after you win the World Series and you drink bottles and bottles of champagne. That's what I want to see. Screw Fisher, Drew Manfred. All right, take care, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the baseball Substack. Subscribe there and share it all with your friends. I'm trying to reach 100 or to two. I'm trying to get like thousands of people on this email list, but it all starts with one person, and you're that person. All right, take care of it. Take care, everyone, and peace out.